talking about it. These rocks, they look like cliffs.
Well, that's
Yeah, they do.
on the Noble Lighthouse. That's kind of what they look like.
They do that, yeah.
I was afraid it was too much. I mean, I was just playing with the colors.
I mean,
of the
just make
sky.
sure they're irregular, but this underneath is making it, the only thing I might, and this is minor detail, but when you have a dark crack here, you're not really going to probably have a shadow on both
No,
sides
just
of
leave
it.
Yeah.
Just shadow one side of it and
Yeah.
try to, but yeah, these came out really well, I thought.
See, then I did it. Then I did this morning. I'm just playing, thinking about the Noble
Well,
Lighthouse. So I just played with the sky and I did those rocks.
Ooh, where'd you get this?
Amazon.
Did it come one at a time, or did
I
it
got
come?
two like that.
And what are they called?
Acrylic.
Acrylic.
And it was
Pieces
the
of acrylic.
size I was looking
It's
for.
thick, yeah.
It's like an 1/8 of an inch thick, I think.
Oh, and it's got a plastic on it.
It does. I just
They do that because once you use it for framing, you take the plastic,
Yeah.
they scratch so easily.
Well, I knew that, and
Yeah.
so the plastic.
This
was
is
in there.
really nice, and I like that you put the warmth at the bottom
I know. I know. I use my big palette
because that's what. And then the seaweed comes up in there, and Maine and New Hampshire seaweed is that bladder weed, which is kind of that raw sienna, barely greenish kind
Yeah.
of stuff. It's not a green
No, it's
seaweed.
more a yellow green.
Yeah,
But
Yeah,
it's not a
it's-
light yellow green. It's
you
kind
have
of I have
raw
this.
sienna. Oh, that's a great one for it. Yeah.
Yeah, see, this color is really cool.
Because the yellow ochre is a little too
this
yellow.
color? But this is pretty yellow. See?
Because this is your yellow ochre.
Yeah.
You don't. My mother used to use this raw sienna all the time, and it's seaweed color. It's a perfect seaweed
Well, I have
color.
raw, whatever you said. You say raw sienna.
Raw sienna. Look at how this settled out in there.
I
Look at
know,
It's
isn't that
so
cool?
beautiful? I'm gonna put this on the video.
Let me see what this is. That's raw sienna.
Like how that settled there. This settled a little bit too.
Well, you know, that's because I was using this chromium, and it's.
What's
I mean,
this
it's-
green?
It's cerulean
What's
chromium.
What's
And it
cerulean
does
chromium?
settle out.
Oh, in here.
Yeah.
The cerulean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cerulean tends to be a really good settling color. What was this one again?
That
That
is
green, yeah.
rich green gold.
Green
it's a Daniel
gold.
Smith color.
Daniel Smith green gold.
And I kind of use it over, like as an under thing if I'm in grasses.
I wonder does it mix well with other?
Yeah, it does. It does.
It plays well with others?
Plays well with
It
others?
does play well with others. Yeah.
Oh, and I have one question for you. Another question.
Just one? Just one?
How do I make this?
Oh, she has a brush.
I do have a brush. Do I have it here? Yeah,
Ah.
But here, that's
here. These two brushes.
And so what are they?
These, you know, when she was teaching us before how to make leaves and stuff, this
Oh,
makes the
it's-
bigger leaves, and this
But
makes
it's got like a wedge or something.
it's a wedge.
Oh.
And you do it with the long side down,
Uh-huh.
and you just go like, I mean, I have
And
trouble
so
with
that's
it.
how you.
It does the work for you.
This
Yeah.
is my friend Amy, and she's a great.
so you can do a
watercolor.
little circle,
Uh-huh.
and then
That was her Christmas card. to us.
you can do it with one of your round brushes. You know, definitely you can do it. But you have to think a little bit more. I don't have much paint on there, but
So original gold tri-wedge.
so I'm pressing it and trying to get that leaf shape.
Uh-huh.
This is not working very well. But then,
Here,
where did you put it away?
No.
Yeah, either one of these.
We're gonna get my.
They're just made for this type of thing. Because you just set them down and they make, whoops, that
Oh, that's cool.
leaf. Wait, I gotta get it in the right place. That one's too long. Probably the smaller one would work better. But then you just follow it around like you're making a wreath.
It would work better.
Yeah,
I
this
think.
is
But
not-
you know,
Ooh, I'm sorry,
I
I just-
think a regular round brush works.
Is that
the
your clean
best.
water? I'm sorry, I just messed
I
it.
think
Clean
regular
water.
It's all right.
round brush works the best to get those kind of leaves.
These are
See, then
more.
she's got this here. It's beautiful.
Yeah, she's not using one of these.
No,
But remember that lady in the class that first brought this in, and she's like, "Yeah, look at this," and it's like, "Doop, doop, doop."
I just want to do this so I can look at it.
play with it. See what you think.
Actually, these are going out, aren't they? So then you can just follow. I mean, that goes really quickly, as opposed to this where you have to really control. It's kind of the same thing, but you need to think about how you're. This is not a good paper. And I think that it looks like this is what she used, because they're not that
Like a wedge, you're
perfect
saying?
control.
No, she used
No,
a
the round brush.
Uh-huh.
The wedge brush,
Yeah.
will do very consistent
And hers are
teardrops,
different times, right?
and hers are a little different.
And she's got
So
different colors and things.
yeah, and you can. This paper is not picking up that paint well. See, so then you've got more of a. It's a teardrop as well, but it's.
All right,
just-
well,
it's
good. Because
different.
I was like, oh, I want to figure out how to do
And then
it.
you just go around and.
These are different size round brushes, just like what you have there.
Uh-huh.
This is an 8 and a 4.
Okay.
And if you learn that and just practice that,
Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna write down round brushes.
There's a wedge. And the other thing for the, then you can take a very small brush or even your rigger brush or liner brush.
Okay, I got a rigger one there. That's-
Yeah, I thought it was a rigger. Then you can do some lines
So
off
an 8 and a 4, you said?
to the
Oh,
side.
I thought I had an 8.
you might. Is that an 8? Yep, you do.
Okay, 8
And a 4.
and a 4.
4 is the same. It's a round brush. It's just smaller.
So I can take now the rigger brush and do some fine lines off the edge that way. Then take the backward tip of another brush and
Make the little berries.
put your little berries in like that.
Cool.
Pretty easily. This brush has a funny look at the handle and the
Oh,
base of that.
It's open.
It's open. So with this one,
You can
sometimes
actually make berries.
this is the one I use to make bubbles on the fish and stuff.
Oh, cool.
It is cool.
So, but it's again a very distinctive size, and I'm gonna circle it a little bit. See, so you can do that. And so there's options, and you can use different parts of your brush and different
Let me see that
brushes.
little one that she has that I'm gonna take a picture of it so I can.
The wedge brush?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, the
Beth
little
has it
one?
back.
Yeah, the little one.
See what you do with the 4 brush? See?
Uh-huh.
That's what
That's nice. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's kind of like, well, maybe not.
She used a bigger brush. I mean, she also used
Well, she probably, the
smaller.
painting is probably bigger too. She's not doing it that size. She's
Correct.
doing it larger
That's
and then
true.
reducing
Uh-huh.
it in the photo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, this is not a photo. This is the real deal.
Oh, why am I, I'm pretty
She
sure.
makes all of her own.
Cards.
Cards.
Yeah.
This looks
I made my
printed
son
to
one
me.
for Christmas.
So this is the smaller one, or did I get the larger one?
You got both.
I know, but no, I'm trying to remember what I did, so I'll do this. And see, she just signed her.
Water in. Shoot.
Oh, water. Do you want some water?
Here?
Oh, I love some. My third.
Yeah, way in the back on the top.
Can I just use a small?
Yeah, you can. Do you want the bubbly stuff?
Yeah, the bubbly. I love the bubbly. Thank you. Yeah.
There's cold water in the fridge.
I'm so sorry. I'm just packing.
Don't.
Oh, that's okay.
Ah.
I'm kind of glad y'all are kind of sick because that's how I felt all, like.
Did you feel like that at the wedding? I hope not.
No, I felt like that on Sunday when everybody left.
Oh, yeah, well, you were probably.
Then it got really warm and nice out. We were outside. And
You know what helps me too besides local honey?
I got
Right?
some Manuka honey. That's what
Yeah, but you need it systemic. It needs to build up in your system.
Okay, so I've been taking it every day since.
Yeah, and it's good to start it a month or so before allergy season. Of course, I go back and forth to Maine, so I need honey from here and I need honey from up there.
Well, I'm just gonna.
But the other
take it
thing
for the rest of my life.
is a little caffeine actually helps allergies.
Oh.
It's it's a antihistaminic. Is that what the word I want?
And usually I drink,
antihistamine.
like, caffeine free, but caffeine doesn't bother me. I don't know. I just do that. I'm just thinking maybe I don't need that, but maybe I do.
I mean, one day last week, I took a nap in the afternoon. I never nap.
I never do either unless I'm sick.
I
Well, then-
actually lay down and went to sleep. I'm like, what is
But
it?
you know, I couldn't even drive on the road up there, and so it was so bad the medicine wasn't working. I called the doctor. So the first really 3 days, I didn't. I mean, I participated, but I had no energy, and I'd come home and take naps at my girlfriend's house, and it was kind of crazy. So I called the doctor, and she said, "Well, we can't give you anything else, but use Benadryl." Oh my golly, I was so.
Oh, Benadryl will put you to sleep.
Oh,
right?
my-
And then you have the Benadryl drag afterwards.
But I mean,
Oh, I know. I work
but
nights.
I
That's what
had
I
so
know.
much in my body. I was like, I'm going again. I was just like,
I lived like that for 3.5 years when I was working 5 nights and 2 off and 5 nights.
but kind of that part. But after that, I've gotten better every day. And yesterday I couldn't take the drugs, and today I can't. And tomorrow I go at 2:30, and after that I'm popping those pills.
They want you to have a clean system to
Yeah.
go for the test, yeah. That
Well, I
makes
don't even know what
sense.
she's going to do. She could test, but I mean, I've had allergy shots before,
Ugh.
and
And what is it now? It's a tree pollen, right?
you know what? I was only allergic to dust mites and mold, and then grasses,
Yeah, me too.
and because like the mold, like in the spring, when the pollen's on the ground and it gets wet and it gets moldy, and
Yeah. Well, after our divorce, I moved out of the house and I had a little apartment, and my ex and I are still friends, and we just wanted different things out of life. But I talked to him one day, I said, I haven't had an allergic reaction or a migraine since I moved out. I said, must have been something in the house. He says, like, what, me? I was like, anyway. So 2 years later, he sells the house, and sure enough,
and mold.
up in the eaves, there was mold up above us.
gosh.
And he had to have that whole thing replaced. I'm just playing with your sunset for Pemaquid.
All right. I'm
Not
trying to
Pemaquid.
see.
I get
Which one
Pemaquid
is
and
this?
Nubble?
Nubble, yeah.
I need more of this. I don't have
Do you want to see it?
Well, I'm just kind of thinking, I'd want this to dry before I do the next. That's okay, Beth.
It's very,
This will dry quickly because your house is so.
to me, the sky in this picture is the star because
Right.
it's just,
So you want to really play with that. And
Yeah,
have
and
fun.
then-
And I'd bring this bright part over behind in here.
yeah, I thought of that when I was doing it.
Here, let me show on the video. This is what we're talking about. Okay.
Well, that's good.
See, I've decided what I'm gonna do is just white,
Oh my golly, look at that picture.
put, what do you call it on
So
it?
beautiful.
Resist
Okay.
on this, because to tape
And then
it,
do the whole sky.
there's just no way, there's too many pieces.
Well, and this is a little rough, like I was saying. So sometimes you can use tape, masking tape or something as a resist, or painter's tape. But with a rougher paper, often the paint will skittle under
Yeah,
there.
I remembered that when you said, I've only done it one other time,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what happened. And I can't have that there. Resist is fine, and I know.
And so
I'm too
resist is the
detailed
liquid stuff that you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Okay.
like, to me, it's like rubber cement. We used
Yeah,
to
and
use
then once
rubber
it
cement.
dries, you pull it off.
Yeah.
That's what she did on that picture.
That's
Okay.
what
Yeah.
that is, yes.
See what I'm talking about? So this is the drawing for that.
Wow.
And the sky is the whole show. So I will downplay this, but how do I do that and not get these covered in sky? So at first I thought of tape, you know, like,
Uh-huh.
but then I thought of resist because there's too many small pieces.
Oh, wow.
And then that's the hardest part. I think.
Figured out what to do.
Uh-huh.
Which would probably be the truth.
See,
Okay.
I would, because I don't know if I'd do this, but
I think I gotta go change my water here.
not enough paint on my brush. Too watery. Ah,
Oh, you're just gonna do it in gray, kind of grayish.
yeah, because it's darker than the sky, so it can just overlay whatever you've got in there for the sky. I want it more blue than gray, actually, though, but yeah, it's not, I don't have enough paint on it yet. It's gonna be bigger.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that, yeah.
I need a smaller brush for over here, but I'm just gonna do it kind of quickly.
Yeah.
Because if you squint down, the buildings,
They almost disappear and they go dark.
your darks are combined. They're bleeding into each other.
Not only that, but you've got dark under it. It's really dark down here because
Yeah.
the light's coming from
Where
the
was
other
that
side.
picture from?
It's up in Maine. It's
Okay.
near York Beach. It's the Nubble Light, and it's on Nedick Point.
And so you've been up there.
My mom grew up not too far from there,
Wow.
and she used to go there all the time.
And my mom actually lived on the island with the lighthouse keeper one somewhere way, way, way back. So that,
my roots are up in New Hampshire,
yeah.
and hers up in
So
Maine.
Beth and I were like, oh my gosh, is that my mom and my mom and we.
I love it.
Yeah, you never know. You just never know. But
It's
that's
amazing.
a good idea to do it that way.
Because even the windows are not light, so they're going to be
No,
darker.
they're going to be dark. I was trying to figure out how to do that and gray them down, but just make it gray.
I didn't really blend these colors well, so I'm just doing it really
that's
quickly.
okay. I have this color.
But just so you can kind of get the idea.
you see this color, this would be perfect. See that?
Yep. It's almost pre-mixed. Yeah.
It is pre-mixed. It is, but I love it, and I use it only sometimes because it's just you need it special. But that's a terrific idea. Perfect.
I would practice and think a lot more. And I'd use better paper because this is crap.
Oh, I know.
This is not
The
good.
stuff I'm practicing on now is the stuff I'm going to use for it, except for this. So I have one dry run of the whole thing that I'll do on the Saunders because it's pretty good.
Saunders is good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Saunders.
Nice.
Yeah.
I still haven't used that other piece you gave me. I
Yeah,
put it
that-
in somewhere.
And then this is Arches, and I will do the final on Arches because I like it better.
Yeah, I've been listening to videos. I've been going through all of Diane.
Oh, have you?
Diane-
Diane Mize?
Now I'm listening, going through her, oil ones, because she talks about it's not just oil painting, it's about color and how to mix and how to apply things, and she, so.
Yeah.
But also I'm learning how she teaches and how she presents.
She's so good.
But she's on camera all the time, and she's got somebody, I think it's her
Oh, it's her
husband, doing her camera, and I don't have that, so I can't, hi me, and now he'll focus in on that, and that's my,
But yours are still good. The ones I've looked at
Oh,
are
they're
good.
great.
They are.
I'm getting better, but
I haven't caught up on Diane Mize for 2 weeks since my mother showed up, but
no, you've been busy.
I have caught up on the ones on Patreon that you did, and the Patreon Zoom meeting I missed, and that kind of stuff. So I did do that.
So then you could, because that's dark too, you could just drop in
The red on the roofs.
the roof. And then the cupola is,
Yeah, that's tricky. I mean, it's not. It's just you have to get it right.
some lines and a little triangle at the top.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when this is dry, you could come in with some
A little bit.
little windows
Yeah.
or something if you
Yeah.
wanted.
Yeah.
And so what do you do to make the skies? I mean,
Well, what I did was wet it first.
And then when it's all dry, you could draw in that red building down front.
Yeah. Yeah, I was wondering.
Because it's still dark. Look how dark that red building is. It's
I know.
still dark.
It's very dark. I almost didn't put it in, but you kind of need it for balance, I think,
Yep.
against that sky.
So sky was just, you just start with your lighter color, like.
okay, this is kind of where we were going to say there was going to be mountains. So if I can do like
Oh, okay.
sky there, that would be. And I don't know if I have enough paint or anything. You start with purple, with blue. What do you think?
No,
You're going to start with your lighter color.
You need some more ultramarine in
Okay.
here.
I kept that one like you said. I did not get rid of it.
And you probably have enough other colors, but ultramarine you need some.
Let's see.
That's the one that's saying ultramarine.
This one.
Okay. Nice.
Okay, I'm going to yellow.
Yellow. So this yellow. or
So what
this
I
yellow?
do first of all is you're going to do a big wash of sky. So let's pull out some
Do I
yellow.
need to put water on it? She said she put water on her.
I'm not yet.
I did, but that's just, I was just.
Yes, when we get to that. But first of all, you want a good amount of color on your palette. So I'll pull down some lemon yellow. I pull down some cadmium yellow. I might go and pull down some red into the palette, but they're separate little ponds here.
Okay, but then I have to go wash my brush to go get the other. the next thing.
If you go from a light yellow to the dark yellow, you're not going to have to. You go from this yellow to that, you're not going to have to. But at some point, you're going to have to clean your brush.
Yeah, because I can't go get it unless I.
Yeah, you can, because this is lighter. It's not. It's not going
so
to.
it won't do anything in there.
Not much. Not enough to really make it a mess. Now, if you go the other way, yeah, that's a problem.
Okay. Like that.
So then we just have some colors to start with. We know that they're chosen, they're out there, and they're ready to grab. And then I'm going to go with ultramarine. No, I'm not. I'm going to go with a cobalt, or I think this is more phthalo than cobalt, actually. Whoa!
That's really dark.
Yeah, I got a big chunk of it there somehow.
Is that Prussian? That looks really dark.
And you want it a little bit wetter, Pat. It's
Okay, so I'll spray.
pretty dry. Because we're going to take a good chunk, and you want to think, good, how much paper do you have to cover? So you want a good amount. Probably want about twice on your palette what you're going to need to put on your paper.
Oh, there's a big chunk of something.
Yeah, just slowly work it, or pick it up with your brush. Like sometimes you can, or just leave it off to the side.
Yeah, and then maybe the water will get it. Okay,
Yeah,
and
it'll
then I
soften
need
it.
to get, you said red.
Yeah, and I'm getting kind of a purpley red because that's going to be a transition color for me.
Okay, so purpley red.
Because I had one of the
So
ladies.
would that be cadmium red or?
No, the alizarin.
Okay.
Yeah, the alizarin red. Lady in the other class, she's like, "How do you do the yellow to blue in your sky without getting green?" I was like, "Oh yeah, transition color. Something's happened to
Okay.
my yellow."
All
right.
right, so
Yeah.
I need to do blue.
And then I got some blue ready to go. And I don't even know what paper I'm on here. I think, yeah, I can tell because up here. This has some of that Daniel Green watercolor ground.
Oh, on it already?
I had not painted on that yet, so
Oh,
I want to try that.
Okay, so blue, does it matter which blue? Aquamarine, is that what?
Ultramarine, yeah, that's just a little bit. Oh, you got way too much. Brush it like when you're cooking and you're scraping off.
Okay, gotcha.
Because it's fresh from the tube, so you don't.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's really
okay.
soft. You're going to need more water with it. but- Water, not more paint.
No, more water?
Water,
Okay,
yes.
Water, okay. Because they were so dried out, remember, it was wet, and I took it home and
Yeah.
I laid it on the dining room table. When I came back yesterday, it was all dry
Yeah.
after a week.
Yeah.
It was able to do that. Okay. All right, so I've got yellow, yellow, red, blue.
Now we're going to kind of decide where your sun's going to be. You know, somewhere in here, maybe at this dip, you know how it's coming up or going down behind the hills there. So let's get our spray and we'll think where that sun's going to be, and you want it pretty wet around there.
But I'm going to go to a whole.
Now I'm not going to wet it totally because look how by leaving some of it dry, look how it
looks so pretty.
it lets some light shine through
so
there. So just kind of
somebody-
unevenly.
No, I'd already taken the cap off, so.
And actually, I'm looking in my, I don't like that there. All right, now we go rather quickly. So watch me for a sec. We'll
Okay.
go, I want the sun here. I'm gonna have a good amount of yellow around that. I'm going to go to the next yellow, throw it in rather quickly, move out to the orange.
Oh, I didn't get any orange.
Well,
That's
it's just my
red.
red. That was just my red.
Okay. Oh my goodness, look what she's doing.
Yeah, you do that. It's wet, so you gotta move. That's
And by
fine.
moving quickly, it's going to blend into each other really, really nicely. Whoops, that is really thick. That didn't come out very well. But now, if I want, I can spray a little bit of it and move that around like clouds. Then I'll take a paper towel and kind of watch it now as it's drying. If it starts puddling too much, like right here, it's puddling. So I'm not gonna dab it, I'm just gonna touch it, and it will be like a sponge a little bit. Well, no, maybe that'll work too. Again, I haven't worked on this surface before. And I can also do the long crinkly, because I want the clouds going
What
this
it's
way.
doing, though.
So those are like soft clouds. Yeah, this almost looks like a little storm thing coming down, but,
Oh, cool. And then you just tilt.
and you can tilt, so you get those clouds going.
Look at that, how they're running all this.
I know, it's so fun. It really is.
And then this is where you're playing with the paint, and the paint's playing with you, so you're not totally controlling it, but you might end up with some effects that you wouldn't do on your own, and sometimes that's the excitement of it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so do I need to spray it again? Do you think it's wet enough, or maybe I need?
You're totally dry, I can see.
Okay.
See, that's one aspect of being in, so where the light's behind you, you can, and do this swishy, side to side, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
enough?
You want a little more up here too.
Okay, yeah, because that's where I'm going. Okay, so you did the light yellow first.
Start with the light yellow, watch that go up, down near where the sun's gonna be.
Okay, the sun's gonna be there.
So it's going to be radiating out yellow, orange.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and don't pick at it too much, do it quickly. Have you got your lines in there for your mountains?
No, I have not, because I changed paper.
Okay.
I changed.
Yeah, I think this might be better paper. Yeah,
uh,
don't try to control it too much.
red.
Yep, go ahead.
No, blue? Do I have to clean my brush or no? I can go with it?
No, you can go because it's going to mix on there
Oh, yeah,
anyway.
it is gonna do that, okay.
Yeah, more paint. You can see how it started getting thin,
Uh-huh.
and you want more paint on that. So I'm just going to take and wet this a little bit more up here for you, so it'll blend a little more.
Okay.
Now you can try a little tilting, see if you
Okay.
get some clouds going somewhere.
Okay. Maybe I don't have enough paint. Oh, no, it's doing a little bit.
It's doing
That's
it.
about it. And you can give it a tiny spritz if you think it might need that, or, no, see, that's working nicely.
Spray it right here.
Just a hint, yeah. Don't you love these bottles? I love those bottles. Yeah. And then we wait.
Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm stuck all over here.
What's happened?
No, I just got on.
Oh, yeah, but she's got that.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, look. Now this looks like, you know those kind of clouds that come down like that? It's really nice. I love these techniques because it's not like
It's not like you do it
yourself, so you can't blame yourself like, oh, I didn't do a good job. It's like the paint was doing it, so it's its fault.
So is that weird because there's a little place?
No, that could be maybe a little cloud catching full sun or something.
Okay. So that looks okay?
Yeah. Now we have to wait for it to dry.
Okay.
Do, 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 do. But I don't want it to dry too much here. Now what I'm going to do while I'm waiting is I'm going to mix some mountain color. Now if we think about the mountains, as it goes further back, it gets lighter and more cerulean blue in the distance and stronger as it comes
And
forward.
I probably have to get some of that blue.
Yes, so this is my cerulean, so I'm gonna pull that out into a little puddle. That's really bright. I don't want it quite that bright. But if I have some pure colored puddles on my palette, I can
Well, this is cobalt.
drag into them.
Is that what I have? Maybe I didn't have cerulean.
You might not have cerulean, yeah. I
Because
don't know.
remember we couldn't find it? I mean, I couldn't find it, Beth, so is that one? See, that's,
I'm sorry, my
Ultramarine.
cerulean.
That's cobalt.
cobalt, because you couldn't find cerulean.
yeah, they didn't have it, so that's
Right.
what I had to put in there. huh?
Well, you can use the cobalt. Cobalt will. It's functional. And then I'm going to get some of my burnt sienna and burnt umber down here, get it ready to go. By pulling your paint out onto your palette ahead of time, is this on my palette showing on this?
But I gotta put some water in there.
I can't see this thing. No, it's not. Okay, I've got to back off a little more there. By having some paint on your palette ahead of time, you don't have to, you're not in an emergency to dip into one of your wells and you could possibly mess up that color. And so this way it's all ready and you're ready to go on here. I might even get some green.
And we need to be these two colors you said.
A little bit, yep. If it's wet, you don't dip too much into it. If it's dry, you need to work it a little more.
Got a piece of that stuff on there. Get it off. It's like stuffing my brush. No,
Yeah,
okay,
and what you got it off, is that it?
There's one more like that stuck.
Yeah.
It was kind of dried. Now it's
Yeah,
clean up.
and then sometimes you can kind of work it so it's
Okay,
smooth.
and then I need to get the other
Yeah.
color too. Can I? Do I have to wash it?
Oh,
or-
no, you get some right there. I mean, that's close.
that's it?
Like something like that, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So
You're
now,
wet, but I can tell that yours is probably dry because you did yours first.
mine's pretty dry, but I want it not too dry because sometimes in the distance I want a roughness, a little tiny bleeding to make it look like trees in the distance. So I want this fairly light, and then I'm gonna think mountain shapes back here. Oh, this is doing something weird. Maybe this doesn't have that coating on it. I don't like what this is doing. This just feels like some sort of
It feels very smooth.
smooth. It doesn't feel like it has a Daniel, because the Daniel Smith was out here, but it might have been something that I took off earlier.
I bet it's not, because that felt really smooth.
Yeah, this is something. So what I'll do now with that first layer is at the base of it, I'm going to take some clean water and just kind of run along here a little bit to create a kind of a fog before I put the next layer of mountains in. Sometimes even a little hint of a spray. Paper are you on? Arsh?
Harsh,
Yeah, look at the
Oh,
difference.
okay.
It makes such a difference.
but it got all screwed up there.
But that's what I'm looking at two colors for people, an inexpensive palette, but I mean, these
You know,
palettes
those
just,
Cotman sets that I sent you,
Yeah.
the one is not bad.
No,
It's $30 or whatever. And that's Cotman, that's pretty good. I looked at other stuff, but I don't know how good it is, like the Chinese stuff and.
yeah, and I haven't come across a lot, but the other thing is I could buy tubes and just charge
Share.
$10,
For the tubes.
you know, and I can allot it out or something, but
Okay, so
until people like it.
I see I don't have that color you have, that kind of.
That's all right. So I would mix kind of a little bit of that one.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you're picking it. Try to be very aware how much paint you're getting. That looks good. That's into that puddle. And
Add some more water,
then
a little bit. That lightens
your
it.
spray is not working very well.
It's
is it?
not. I think maybe because I've got it tilted and it doesn't. There we go.
Just a little, yeah. And then I would touch just a little corner of this to pull down there, so it's a little more gray. It's not so blue.
Okay.
A little more. Try mixing and see how if it's going to soften it a little bit.
Still not get it very gray, does it?
Yeah, no, so a little more. I mean, you can be a little more bold than that, because you're seeing how it's mixing in. The blue tends to be really strong.
There's it coming there.
Okay, and that's softer. So then you're going to just kind of make a skyline, mountains, and so think mountains up and down, not too even. Make it uneven because it's nature, and nature's always uneven. And then I'm going to go into my next
And I
layer.
leave it like that. I don't do anything else.
Well, you got to think. The mountains don't go this, so it's going to have where's your next layer of mountains going to go? So you need to have that blue going down to the next layer of mountains.
So it needs to be thicker, you're saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
you've defined the edge, and now you want to make it thicker so you can come back over with other colors and you want those peaked in different areas than the ones behind. Yeah, this paper is not good. So I get the upper edge of those mountains going, and then I try to think, okay, now what would happen down here, and where's my next? So you could actually draw your next layer of mountains and then fill in between. I'm spraying just the lower edge of this to let it bleed down into the next layer a little bit. Yeah, I have a line here that if that were Arch paper, I just tried to blot it, it didn't move. That's not moving, it's not
That
a good
big thing
paper.
of Fabriano paper you have, I saw
Yeah.
somewhere, Cheap Joe's or.
Well, this is I looked at it too. It's not the rag. Fabriano does make 100% rag paper, and what I have is not
No,
that.
because it's only $14 for that great big.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I saw.
I'm like, oh, that's what it is. It's
No wonder you really did.
it's pulp paper. Like this is pulp paper, and once you get going, you really want the rag paper. Such a difference. Try not to pick too much. Try to make a nice bold brush stroke and leave it. How's it going?
That's kind of what it's.
Nice. Look
That's
at
good.
that. I love
Look
it.
at you.
What's your paper?
It's just the 40 weight, you know.
Yeah, see now this looks like little foggy areas in the mountain. And then the next layer will be more green because it's coming closer and just kind of a darker, more contrast, bluer green. And I use the blue, the green, and a little bit of that russet too, because that warmth is going to pull it forward.
Warm over here.
And try to leave some of your fog behind that front ridge of mountains that you're now creating. You know, that nice dribbly blending fog stuff.
When I get home today, I'm gonna set all this up in my dining room. The cleaning lady doesn't come till next Tuesday.
You know what? I would love to have her name and stuff.
Oh, yeah, did I not send that to you?
But that's okay.
I'll give it to you before I leave today.
Okay. I'll have to remember to.
Oh, we need to think about July too. What are your thoughts?
You know,
on-
July, I'm really crazy
Busy, right? Yeah.
because that's when my family comes and before they leave, and I will have my kids for a few days,
Yeah.
and then I'll have all of them for a little over a week. And then the dog stays behind, which should be really interesting.
And
Their
they go
dog?
off-
They have a dog, yeah.
No, but they go off somewhere else and.
Well, no, they're going to Portugal. They're moving.
Oh, I forgot that.
Yeah, and then I've got to get
Look
the
how
dog.
beautiful that green is. That's gorgeous.
Then I got to get the dog to Washington, third week in August.
Washington State or DC?
DC.
Okay.
Oh, I wish it were state. That would be really fun.
So your next thing is going to be going to Portugal?
No, the house isn't ready. The house is like demoed big time and not ready.
So are they renting for a while when they
They're
go?
gonna rent for a while, at least a couple of
So
months.
so they're building one, and
Yeah, well, no, they bought an old one and they took it down.
but you have to do
They
something to it.
moved walls. They took it down to dirt. I mean, like the floors are dirt right now, and they put in all
Oh my,
this
but that's
plumbing
so
and
exciting.
electrical and all of the above. So.
Oops. Yeah, this thing has a nasty wrinkle right down the middle, and I'm getting a whole. Oh, but then maybe I could put a house down here and make it be a smoke stream going up from
Okay.
the house. How's that? Nice.
It's really nice.
That paper is working. It's working better than the stuff that I
Well, this
have.
is just the plain old stuff that I have from.
Oh, that's Saunders. That's good paper.
Yeah.
Is that what I've got?
Yeah, that's what I use for my sketchbook. That's good
Yeah,
paper.
yeah, this is part of my sketchbook
Yeah.
too. So.
Yeah.
I like that green. I like that color. Very green for
I didn't plan this out. This was just a intuitive painting. But all my mountain ranges are too equally spaced. That's something you don't want
I
to
don't
do.
know if mine are or not.
No, that's good.
Yours aren't. Mine are.
That's
I
good.
wasn't paying attention.
All right, this is gonna be smoke. 'Cause why not? Always called the little happy accidents that.
And so at the bottom, we want it to be more green. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because if you
It's going to be trees or something.
trees or grass or something, and as it
Mhm.
comes forward, it gets bluer and less contrast and more hazy as you go further away. As you come closer, it's warmer, green or yellows or something, or earth tones, and more contrast, darks and lights, and that's going to pop it forward.
I don't know if I have a lot of those darks, do I? Do I have enough dark in there?
What's your darkest? What is this one? That looks like a black. Okay.
What does it say right there?
Oh, Payne's Gray. Well, that could be dark. It's got blue in it. Just be aware of that.
That's dark. Where would I put dark? Maybe too much dark, huh?
Well,
Oh, no.
I'd leave it yours alone right now. Actually.
Okay.
I think
I'll leave it
we'll have to
alone.
wait for it to dry a little
I'm
bit.
gonna kind of do this and see if any of this can kind of move.
I brought this because sometimes you can find things and I have no idea.
I saw somebody working with something like that.
I'm
Only
gonna,
it was,
I'm gonna use it like a sponge here. Nope, see,
I was
that
thinking you
didn't
were using
work.
it like a stencil.
Or you
Yeah,
can
you
use
can.
it as a stencil with a toothbrush. My paint is too wet. That's on the.
Yeah, mine is really super wet too.
But yeah, then you can get. Yeah, for October, which I know I'll be back, Pam and I are offering 2 classes. We're going to do Basics of Pastel and Intermediary Watercolor.
oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, October
Those
looks-
classes fill up really fast.
October looks really good for me.
And we're gonna be in France.
Where?
Middle of September to like the first part of October. We've been planning to go do this for 4 years.
Well,
Where
you
is
know,
going?
COVID kind of got in the
We're
way.
going to Paris. We're going to go there twice. We're going to go on the left bank the first time, and then we're going out to Burgundy, and then we're coming back and going to. I've never been to France, so I'm all excited. And I don't think Dan has either. I mean, he traveled a lot because he lived in Germany and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Really? You look-
All right, working with trees. Let me get this on here, so, because I'm gonna flip this over. We'll try some different types of trees, and this is a good picture because it gives you an idea of what different ones do. So I'm gonna get some paint ready.
Okay.
Kind of running out of green here, so I'm gonna go grab some yellowish. Make a puddle of that there. And then I can grab some blue. Make a nice green, really quick and easy. So a fir tree, when I do it, I'm up quite high on the brush. And I'll think of a trunk going up through, and I don't try to make it perfect. And then I lift the brush lightly so it's thin at the top. And the branches at the top are going to be smaller and lighter, so they're reaching up to the sun. And as they head out to the side, as you're going down the tree, they're heading out and they're heavier, but the tips will still kind of reach out to the sun. And then at the bottom, they're big and they're heavy, but the tips of them still reach out to the sun. And this is the other thing. You're not only thinking of the tree this way, you're also thinking of it this way. Okay. So if you're not just thinking of the profile of the tree, you have to think some of these are coming out and toward me as well.
Okay.
And you want to leave some sky peeking through. That's one of the beginning things that people forget to do. They forget to leave sky. So I'm thinking out and up, very light, very thin, out and up.
Oh my goodness.
See where she holds her brush?
I don't know how to do that.
And because I'm so far back and I'm loose, now I'm thinking, okay, these are getting heavier. So now I'm going to head out more before the tip comes down. Some of these are coming at me, so it's going to be a little thicker in the middle. as it's coming out at me, and then down toward the base, it's going to get thicker and hanging down. But there's always some spaces where the sky is peeking through. So just kind of have some fun with that. I'm going to put some grassy shadow underneath here. Now see, you can feel your brush is getting dry and you don't have much paint anymore.
Okay.
So being aware of that.
Okay. Because you want it to be thicker and.
You want it to flow well. And think each branch, try to focus on each branch as you go along. Is that your dishwasher?
Yeah.
Oh. It's like, what was that?
It's pretty quiet
It
until
was.
it starts to drain, and then
And I'm gonna blot this just for some variety in there. Just did a little blot. Think branch. The branch is going out, and then the little branches.
Okay.
See, yeah, you get that feeling. Add in some other color, add in some blue. Keep changing the color slightly. It's never just a flat green. Now you're not thinking branches anymore.
Uh-oh.
The branch goes out. Yeah, that's better. Can you feel it a little better?
Mm-hmm.
It's not so much a dab, dab, dab. It's kind of a drag.
Okay. Now I gotta do some in the middle, because it's coming out to me.
Yeah. But you're tending to dab again. I mean, it's tempting.
Okay, so I just do like this?
Yeah, a little like that. And see how light? You're still light, so now you need more paint on the brush. You're gonna probably have to go into a well. You've used up pretty much what you've got on there. See how that puddle you have there is quite light. So it's saying, I need more pigment.
Okay.
That was a big glob. That happens with you. Now get some other color and off to, not right in the middle, but I would pick up some blue, mix it off to here, maybe some of this russet, mix it off to another side.
Which blue?
Any blue.
Okay, well, this is good.
You know, and then you've got some of this over here, ready to pick up.
Oh, that's really.
Yeah, and you can actually mix in a little of this here. See, so you've got a variety of colors, and then, but keep mixing it as you go on your paper too. Don't do all the mixing on the palette. Some of the mixing you want it to happen on the paper. And then if you want branches in the middle, which you don't usually see much with fir trees, but you can take your tiny rigger brush and just draw some. Not too much of a good thing. Pine trees are interesting because on their trunks, as they're going up, nice. That's looking good. Yeah. Yours is looking really good. You've got kind of the this way. Now think of a couple of spots where it's coming kind of out at you. So it's going to be a little thicker in a couple spots in the middle. Not everywhere, but some places.
so thicker in the middle.
Yeah.
Not sure how to do that.
Where's your
Sure how to
pine
do that.
tree?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Kind of
Because
coming this way, a little
Ah.
thicker branch coming at you this way. And it's coming swooshing at you. Now there's no good pine tree on that example. That's just a little young pine tree there. But if you think about the,
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's coming from the back. Like
it's from the back
Like-
and from the front.
like in this one here.
Yeah, and see how it's a little thicker in the middle and then the edges go off. And let me look at this one, shows a little more. See how there's a dark shadow in there, but then the branches coming at you are catching light and they're kind of just swooshes of brushwork coming at you. Older pine trees are pretty. I'm just going to do the trunky area and it's going to fade off up in there. But they have these little
Spikes.
horizontal, they break off. Yeah. And then, I'm not going to go way up, but if I went, again, kind of their evergreen out here, but their branches grow straight off. Where fir trees kind of reach out and out and out, pine trees go straight out. And then that's why when they break off, that's all you get are those little,
Sometimes that's all you see in a tree.
yeah.
Because they're all weathered.
So you want to think, okay, what kind of tree is this? It's not just a tree, it's a specific kind of tree. So you see a lot more of the branch, and the needles are kind of out at the tip of the branch more than on a fir tree, they're all the way out. So that's kind of nice.
Well,
That's
okay.
good, yeah. Very good.
Maybe too much, but
First tree.
yeah, first tree. Probably need to go get some more water.
A maple tree and an oak tree, they're different.
Oh yeah.
So I often don't draw, I'll wait until you're back, but I don't draw the trunk all the way up like I do on evergreens. I tend to start with the leaves. Nice. Yep. So maple tree, I'm gonna think. Oh, good. Well, there goes my yellow puddle. I had green in my brush. It's more masses of leaves. The branches still go up and out, but they're in large masses of leaves. And I'll turn my brush to make it feel like it's the direction
That's cool.
that the branches are going as the tree grows. So you see here, I'm starting with the masses of leaves instead of with the trunks. Because then when I come in with a trunk here, I'll bring in the trunk. Okay, that didn't come out very good. And because of the masses of leaves, I can decide, and it has to be consistent going up through, but that it's going up through the tree, and it peaks out every now and then, here and there. Kind of like that. So it's not a solid trunk going all the way through. It disappears behind those masses of leaves. And then you start looking at, and see how many greens I had in there? I had 4 greens. It's not the same green all the way around. Lighter and more yellow as it's closer to the sun.
Are the pine trees, are they alternating branches or are they opposite?
Pine trees are opposite.
Opposite?
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't looked at mine, so.
The branch goes out and then it's just got the little pine needles at the tips of them. Mine here came out very brown, which these should be greener at the tips. I realized this morning, I'm gonna spend 4 days in the car.
Don't think about that.
I know. I've got 3 hours out to Greensboro tomorrow, 3 hours back the next day, then I've got a 12-hour trip up to, where am I heading to? I don't know, somewhere up near, what's the name of that? Wilkes-Barre, no. Yeah, Wilkes-Barre.
I don't know where that is.
It's Pennsylvania in the mountains
Yeah.
somewhere. Okay, now don't forget branches coming at you as well.
Oh, okay, so.
Because a tree is just not, doesn't have only branches
Right.
here, it also has branches coming toward us and away from us. Nice, see, that's a nice variety of colors.
See, I don't know how to make them come on the pine tree.
Right, it's tricky. Just, they're kind of like, let's see. I'm trying to think. Well, if this would be thinner, and these are the pine needles sticking out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now watch. As it comes at you, how is that going to
You're
change?
just gonna have the needles.
And it's going to be in front of the trunk, yeah. So we need to think about that.
So we're gonna go here with this.
This is where I mess up a tree every single time.
That is beautiful. Look at those colors.
The trunk is really thick for that size
It
of
is
tree,
thick.
but
It is thick. It's too thick.
well, don't. Now you're making it thicker.
Well, it needed to be a lot taller. Okay.
Which you should have turned your paper the other way, but that's okay. They're just
Okay.
practicing. So now you have already some holes in there. Where would that tree trunk
Probably out like this.
poke through? Well, first of all, the trunk would come up. There's a hole there. That wouldn't be sky. That would be trunk following up through. So now you're going to paint negative space around those leaves. Yeah, like that, see? And don't worry if it bleeds a bit. And then where does it go up after that?
Probably here.
Yeah, you're going to have a branch off there.
Yes.
And the branches get smaller as they get further away from the trunk. You got a sequoia happening there, I think. Pat, that's cool.
I don't know what I got.
Mine is kind of too. It's just kind of this big. I went into a sketchbook the other day and I was trying to look up at a tree. And of course, if you think of looking up, if you were standing at the trunk, it would be concentric circles coming down.
Okay. All right. Now I'm going to try to do one of those, and I don't know how I'm going to do that one.
So I started with some, where the sun is hitting it at the top, more yellow greens, softer, deeper colors down below because it's getting into shading. Think logical branches coming out from, like if there's, if this trunk were coming up, there wouldn't be sky right here, right? Because that trunk would come up.
Oh.
What colors in the same? I'm going to get more of this guy.
There's probably not enough sky holes in this little tree.
It's always good to start with more sky holes because you can fill them in.
Okay. Get a piece of paper. That would help. So you start with this first.
Just going to start with the leaves this time, the masses of leaves. Yeah, this paper's working better than that last one. I don't know what this is.
Better.
It's better. Whatever it is, it's better. That's what I start doing now with my pastel paper is I'll tape it down and I'll write. But if you write it on the tape, then you take the tape off and you still don't know what kind of paper
I
it is.
write it on the back. I'll
Yeah,
just put a little thing.
it's a good idea. But then if you want to use the back of the paper, you've got that.
I do it in pencil though, then I
Yeah.
erase
Oh, you
it.
can do it right down at the edge that's going to be covered by the tape.
Yeah,
You know,
you
so
could.
think about those things. Nice, Pat. Yeah.
Right. I don't.
Now you want darker because now this is the bottom of the tree where all the other leaves are shading it, so they're going to get dark under there. See on this one, it shows really well. See how it's yellow at the top and then really dark underneath. It's just something about this paper, the way it takes the paint.
It just, yes.
It's just luscious.
It is.
Yeah.
And there's no other paper that does that. Not like that.
I saw some, cruising YouTube, especially as I'm packing and stuff. I'm watching all these videos. And I love Diane, but sometimes her voice starts to...
I can't do too much of it. 45 minutes or I fall asleep.
Yeah,
It's weird.
she's thinking as she's going, and she hesitates a lot. And I think sometimes when I'm painting, I'm like, am I doing that too? Am I like hesitating?
No, you catch yourself after about 2 seconds. And then, because you can tell when you start to get in the zone and then you catch yourself.
Yeah.
You do that. You do that, but you catch yourself.
Okay, good.
I don't think I'd catch myself because I've often thought of that. When I'm really I don't even hear the phone ring.
Yeah.
When I'm really working, I don't,
In the zone.
And I always have to have it quiet when I really get going.
Okay. Yeah.
Or
So
I
no
can't
distractions.
I can't go. Like if I'm tense or really stressed, I can't work. I can't paint.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just
I had to be in the mood to paint, and then when I started having kids and other things, it's like, I can't wait for the mood. I have to do it when I have the time, regardless of mood or anything.
yeah. It's weird.
Don't overdo a good thing and don't lose your sky holes. Okay.
All right. So
Now you're doing the trunk, and you're gonna think, the trunk is gonna be behind all these leaves, right? So the trunk, it'll come up into there, and then you want a consistent peeking through the holes, and then every now and then a branch heading off.
So,
This branch is too skinny right here, so I'm gonna make that one a little thicker. Aw.
Another country heard from. She heard me. She woke up.
Pretty soon, honey. You'll come out
You're
pretty
okay, Izzy. She sounds so innocent when we're out. She's like cannon coming out of being shot. She's like, shoo. She's better than she used to be.
She's getting older.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I'm just lifting for some light spots, as if the light's popping through some of the holes.
You're okay.
what kind of dog is she?
She's a miniature poodle.
Oh, so cute.
She's 3.
That's a good age. You'll have her for a while.
Yeah. I'm waiting for her to.
Calm down.
Yeah. I mean, I've had a lot of
3,
dogs.
yeah, they usually about then. Although poodles tend to be more.
Yeah, see, I
High
rescued
strung.
one,
Yeah, that
and
doesn't
she
look
was
right.
not like
It's a little too even. Doop, 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 doop. I think that's what it is.
Do I need to go back and put green over the top
So-
of that? Or?
Let's just remove a couple of them so they're not.
So,
You see, then now they're a little more. You just don't want them too even.
right.
Okay, I'll edit that. Edit that. I'm not gonna have a chance to edit that. Nice. I like the variety in the greens and stuff. That's good.
Ooh, that's so pretty.
Thank you. Well, now I mess it up.
Yeah, this did not. It's fun, but it did not come out with the right colors. I mean, I would do that all over.
Yeah, the top is great. The blues are too vibrant.
I think. But it was right at the end of the class, and I was just doing it real quick so they'd have an idea. How's this looking? I like the sky came out kind of neat. If that were on better paper. Now the base of a tree has the roots come out, and almost always at ground level, right, it goes out, it gets a little shoulder down there.
And that makes it a healthy tree. If it
Yes.
does not have that, it means it's girdled.
Yeah, and people will mulch up around it.
Right.
I'm like, you're killing your tree.
I know.
It needs
I
to
had
breathe
pay to have
down
them
there.
come. They planted those, what are they called? They're ornamental trees. I have one out front that's a real big one, and I have another smaller one out front.
Like a
And they
Japanese
plant-
maple or
no,
something?
it's
No,
not that.
Okay.
I'll come up with it. But they planted it in the pot when they
Oh, you have to take it
So
out
for
of that.
6 years, it's been in the pot.
Yeah.
And they had to do actual surgery on it.
No.
And then they piled it up with mulch. And I didn't even know what they were. And I had the tree guys come out. And so,
Yeah, no, when you plant a tree, because I did a number of trees, if you have the root ball, you want that
oh, you got to have it.
above the
Yeah, you
You
ground.
want at least like 2 or 3 inches
At least
up.
I
to
know.
6,
That's
yeah.
what I got with all my master gardening things.
Yep. But I didn't know they did that.
I finally, before pre-internet, I finally bought myself a giant gardening book, everything in it. Oh, honey, so sad.
It's too wet.
All right, so we have maple, we don't have umbrella trees around here, but there's some tree that looks like the umbrella tree. Is it what do they call them? Not Myrtle.
Myrtle?
Myrtle?
Myrtle, no.
Does that go up as a tri? There's one tree that kind of goes up like a triangle with like almost, and it's one of the
Great
ornamentals.
Myrtle will do that if you don't trim it.
Okay.
Like it gets really, really high and then it just branches off.
That might be it, because I saw some along the highway and I asked a friend and they're like, oh, I think it was a crepe myrtle, yeah. Because they kind of went up that
beautiful.
conical shape and then,
They're
And
really
they have
cool.
multiple trunks, kind of.
yes, yeah, went up. But they don't grow in the north, so.
No, they don't.
I'm not used.
They are so beautiful down in Greenville, South Carolina. They are everywhere. And in Atlanta.
Oh, really?
Memphis, Tennessee is the same way.
You know, because that's just, the way it is.
Yeah.
Because they do like.
Well, they're native to that area?
I don't think they're native. They probably everything came from the Orient, pretty much.
Did you ever
Most of
read
their plants.
Elizabeth Gilbert's The Signature of All Things?
No, I've read a lot of her books, not that one.
Yeah, she started at one point after one of her divorces or something, and she just decided she never wanted a garden. Her mother always had a garden. He was some rocks and water. We did rocks and water the other day.
Oh, that's really cool.
That is very lovely. How did you get the white there? You just left it?
Left it, so you have to leave the white, and then to get this bouncy, you kind of skim it with a
It's
textured
dry
paper.
brush.
Dry
So
brush
you just-
skimming across the
You just
top.
kind of skim
So it
across
just,
like that.
as the paper's going like this, it's just skimming the top of it.
You don't
there.
get it sopping wet.
No, it has to be
You just
dry.
like go like this on your paper towel, and then you just go like that.
Yep, just like that.
Isn't that cool? And you do that in water with the right color, and that's what happens.
That's what happens.
Oh, gorgeous.
Yeah, it is pretty gorgeous.
So at one point she bought a house and she decided she just wanted to start a garden. It was not a vegetable garden like her mother, but a flower garden. And then she got curious as to where these flowers had come from. And she started doing research. And eventually wrote a novel about where the origins of these plants and how they came from all over the world and where they came from.
How cool.
It's really interesting. It's been a while since I've read it, but
She's amazing, actually. I really like her.
if you haven't heard her TED Talks,
You sent it. You
did
sent it
I?
out. At
Oh,
least
that's
to
right.
me,
I put
got
it on. Yeah.
You sent it to
Didn't I put it on
maybe
Patreon?
Patreon. That's where I saw it. But yeah, I really
Because I'm like,
like
this
that
is
one.
inspiration, and that's a fairly short one. She has longer ones, but
She was funny. And that's what I love about her. I laugh at her books, and she's just real.
she is.
I did not realize that
And then-
you made it to the signature level in the American Pastel Society. That's awesome. I knew you were trying to do it. I didn't even ask.
Oh yeah, no,
I was afraid.
I was
That
like-
it wasn't yet.
when it came through, I'm like, I mean, nobody's around, so you jump up and you go, hey, by yourself, and you
Oh,
go,
I know.
nobody's here.
But that's amazing. That's really something.
My next
What is this? Tell me. I don't know about it.
It's there's two huge, they're actually international, but I say national pastel societies, the two top ones. And I just there's associate level, signature, then you go to masters, and then the tip top is eminent. And I just hit the signature level. So my next thing is master level. And I'm kind
What
of,
do you have to, they look at your,
they look at your work, a collection of maybe 5 paintings, and you have to get judged in.
okay. That's cool. Very cool.
But the reason I'm kind of doing it is not for the accolades, I'm not saying it right.
Accolades.
Accolades, thank you. It's for teaching, because I think there's some groups that don't want just an associate artist teaching. They want somebody who has, they've proven themselves. So that's kind of what I'm trying
That's
to do.
a good goal.
Yeah, so signature.
But it is pretty prestigious because you have to have X amount of your work accepted
It has to be juried.
into a show, so it's juried.
And PSA, I mean, Jimmy, the president, he's pretty strict about things.
Well, yeah, you can't have anybody critique it and do anything with it, for one.
And some of the others, like IAPS, to get into the international one, to get a higher thing there, it's how many shows you get juried into and if you win awards or not. So. Pastel Society in Maine, I'm a signature as well, but that's mostly because that's every group has a little bit different criteria. That one was that you were juried into so many shows, if you got an award, and if you are also on the board and doing work to help support the society.
Wow. So you gotta be really serious about it. About the group. It's I bet that got harder because more people probably tried to do it during
Wow.
COVID.
Yeah, and back years ago, there weren't that many pastellas, so some of the people that are up there, they've been around,
Wow.
so yeah. Now the competition is higher.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Okay, so getting an idea, I mean, you can see the umbrella one, it's kind of that top, and you'd want, lighter and darker, like different colors, but then it's mostly branches. And here you have to think your Fibonacci series, how it gets the trunk, and then the next branches up go half that size, and then half that size, and
Okay,
half, so
yeah,
it gets smaller and smaller as it goes out. And the little gray thing at the bottom is different types of trees, but this should help you, like with the mountains, they're lighter and bluer, softer in the background, and you
Because
can
the
play.
further away, they're.
Yeah, and you can
don't
play
see
with
them
that.
as well, so.
So you would start with the ones that are back in the background, wait for them to dry, then do the next layer up, wait for that to dry, and then do a front layer. And you can mix these two. And this one is just like, whoosh, you'd just be pulling the brush down.
Should I take a picture?
No, that's yours.
Oh, goody.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
And if something happens to it, just let me know and I'll send you the PDF of
That's a
it.
great reference, that little tree.
Yeah.
So you
Tree
can kind of
thing.
see.
What else?
It's almost time for you to go pack, darling.
What time is it? So we're kind of wet and wet.
You're gonna have to get this off of here.
Dropping it in every now and then. So I'm going to drop some in. Then every now and then I'm going to pull out, maybe see if I can get some of those little branches that we just practiced, but not all of them.
You need to go get a piece of
Paper towel?
paper towel. 'Cause I
She's
used
got
mine
some
all
here.
up. Oh, use mine all up.
Very good. Is that enough?
Yeah, because I just need to move some stuff away here so I can get. I don't have any way to get that yellow.
Well, it doesn't have to be yellow. You've got some orange and stuff there. Do an orange sky in behind.
Oh, I did this wrong.
There is no wrong.
Yes, there is.
Then what happens? Then the light comes down through the middle, I'm gonna spray down through the middle, just to kind of make a nice wash, heading down through there. Blot it a little bit. Mommy, you've abandoned me. The cat, my landlord's cat today, I got up and I was heading out to the gym. The other cat recently died in the house, and she went to the front door, and I'm like, oh, Looney, you want to go out? And I opened the door, and she stepped back because she'd such a habit of the other cat would be outside at night, and he'd come in every morning, and that's how she got fed. So she was expecting to get fed by letting him in the front door.
Yeah. My kids left, and Izzy was so excited that when I came home, because I went straight, they left from my brother's house. And when I came home, she was like all excited to see me, and then she went out to the garage looking for them, and then she came back in, and then she went back out. She's like, where'd they go?
Where are they? They're supposed
Where'd
to
all those
be
people
there.
go?
Yeah.
People that liked me.
That's an ugly color. Why did that come out so ugly? All right, I'm going into my Viridian green. You know, right?
Yeah.
I'm not happy with Viridian, but I'm gonna use it.
It's one of those colors you just don't use that much. I don't.
Van Gogh loved it.
I know. But then I will never claim to be him.
No. So we can skip it.
Yeah.
So right now, we're just kind of throwing it in because it's so wet, it's going to spread out and we're going to get washes of color. And then as it's drying, we'll try to keep an eye on certain areas and pick out some branches as it's drying. If that makes sense. Now this, if it's wet and you're dribbling it, remember how with the sky we did it side to side so that the clouds were going this way? With the trees, we're going to want it going up and down. And I need to decide what to do with the...
You don't want to strip right down on my lap.
I'm trying to have a nice path coming down through too. And we don't need to, I mean, with the trees when we were doing the trunks and stuff, it needed to be logical. This doesn't have to be quite as logical. Because it's not.
It's not. I can't even call it.
It's getting ready to drip.
That's not good.
You have to have a really good imagination to think these are trees.
Well, right now it's just masses, and then again, as it's drying, you can go up and pull out, you know, some little branches and tip tops peeking out behind. So I'm riding with my friend Will tomorrow. He's the president of the Pastel Society. And he's like, well, come up to my place in the morning. You can keep your car in my garage. Well, he's at the tip top of one of the mountains in Fairview.
Oh, golly.
I'm like, I'm going to have a loaded car. I have 4 cylinders. How is my car going to make it up that?
Slowly.
He's like, you can do it. I'm like, you have a 6-cylinder.
Makes a little bit of a difference.
Yeah.
For just that reason.
All right, I'm going to fiddle around with the foreground here, and I'm going to add some color while it's still wet. Woo! What are those? I don't know. These are those fire bushes and... Oh, nice. Yeah, that paper is working really nicely. I don't know about that right there. That needs to be controlled.
Kind of borders on abstract.
Yeah, I've done it.
It is. It's
That's what I said. You got to squint your eyes.
It's kind of like, you know.
You're doing expressionism.
Yeah, you're on something here. Will has asked 4 or 5 times now, have she ever considered pastel? Why don't you do pastel?
It's like she's done pastel. She's loving
I wanna
watercolor
say,
right
why
now.
don't you do watercolor?
Yeah. Well, his style too would go, I don't know, something, I'm like, at the Wyeth show,
Yeah.
he was just, and I'm like, you'd be great at this.
You liked it? You liked
Yeah.
the watercolor?
Yeah.
I can't, I'm gonna go. I have to go down there next week and I need to make a Costco run, so I'm gonna go to Greenville and find that place.
It's free.
I can't wait.
Check the time and stuff. So.
Yeah, I will. I mean, I really can't wait. Your tour of it, I was like, oh my gosh. I'd seen one of those. One you showed, yeah. And I was just
Some of it, one of them, the one of the fireplace, it's this big. And we got looking at it, I'm like, he's got two different light sources. There's light coming in this way, washing across the fireplace. And then there's something else that's casting shadows up in the opposite direction. There must be a reflection off something, off stage over here, reflecting up that way.
He's just amazing. In a way,
And
I got
bold.
thinking, yes, and he's not afraid to do anything. So as I was watching the video that you sent, I got thinking, it's probably very good that they didn't have the technology they do today.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Because in a way, it just is, it leaves it open, and you can guess at what he did and what he was
Yeah.
thinking. And a lot of times you can tell what he's thinking, but sometimes you can't. He's amazing.
and again, I like his watercolors better than his tempera. I mean,
I do
his
too.
tempera and
I
that's.
do too.
He's the one that did Christina's World.
Yeah.
Pat, do you know Christina's
Andrew
World?
Wyeth,
Yes. Oh, yes.
that's who we're talking
Yeah.
about.
He's got a show down in
Really?
And evidently down there in
Greensville.
Greenville, at this little museum down there, they have one of the largest
How long will it be
collections.
there?
It's there the rest of the year, I guess.
Oh,
It's
we
part of
need
their
it now,
permanent.
though.
They have the largest Andrew Wyeth watercolor collection in well, the country.
Oh,
I think there's another, I think it's the Japanese that love his work too, so they have a lot.
when my daughter was in grad school in Philly, we went out, there's somewhere, I don't know where it is, but it was a whole museum, kind of modernistic barn type thing that,
Yeah.
that were all his.
Yeah.
Oh, Chad's Ford?
Yeah, I don't remember the name of it.
In
Brandywine,
Pennsylvania?
Brandywine Museum.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That
That's
is
the whole
amazing.
family, I think.
It is the
I
whole
Because it
can't
has
thing.
remember.
yeah.
Well, they have it
Because
really
that's where
nicely
they're
down at the
from.
museum. They had some of his work.
Yeah.
Yes,
at the
a
art
year
museum.
ago. Yeah.
Was
they
it a
did.
year ago already?
Yeah.
All right, guys. I don't know.
That's amazing. That's
Nice.
good.
Oh, I love it.
I love that.
Well, like I said, you got to squint your eyes and go, maybe that's a tree, maybe that's a.
Well, let it dry, and then look at it closer.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
I like.